My name is John Reinhardt. I am an assistant professor here at the University of Arizona in the English department. I also work with the second language acquisition and teaching PhD program. I'm here with Julie Sykes. We are the co-directors of the Games to Teach project, which is a funded part of the Center for Educational Resources in Cultural Language and Literacies, the most recent grant. Our project, the subtitle is called Developing Digital Game-Mediated Foreign Language Literacies. What we're looking at basically is working with foreign languages in the classroom. So, as I said, my name is John Reinhardt, and my colleague
I'm Julie Sykes. I'm actually at the University of New Mexico. I'm an assistant professor there in Spanish and Portuguese, mainly applied linguistics and second language acquisition. And one thing we're really excited about this project is exactly that sort of cross-institutional collaboration between ourselves and our graduate students as well. One of the important premises of games, too, that we talk about here. So we're excited to be working on the project.
Basically, the idea for the project is based in the idea that, or the project is structured in the idea that games basically aren't just something that people are playing for fun. They're not something that's necessarily non-productive, but that games are socio-cultural practices, things that people do with language, that they're also cultural products. So they have cultural discourses, different narratives, different ideas behind them that we think we can take, we can adapt, we can turn into tools for language learning. One of the ideas we think that a lot of people, sort of a misconception that people have, is that games somehow are socially isolating. We disagree with this. We feel that games really have potential for bringing people together, for challenging people to come up with new ways of working together, and offer them ways to practice language in meaningful situations. So that's the idea of games as a sociocultural practice. We're also, as I said, thinking about them as products, where we think of all that lies behind a game, and what does it say about the people who created the game? How can we use the game as a tool for people to learn about the culture, learn about culture in general? And then sort of have a educational experience with the game. We have a blog, which is games2teach.wordpress.com. Lots of information there. We try to update that blog once a month or so. We also, from the blog, you'll be able to download many other products that we're working on. So Julie's going to talk a little bit about what exactly we're going to be producing.
And really with this perspective in mind that John's talking about, and the idea that games are social practices and an important part of understanding new media literacy, we really want to help classroom teachers and instructors be able to understand how they can best use a variety of games. We call them vernacular games, but off-the-shelf or commercial games, as well as then what that means for building and the principles that might be you need to understand to be able to build your own games or maybe design specifically educationally oriented language learning games as well. And in order to do so, we are developing classroom materials for game reviews, so how you can actually look at a game and decide how it might fit with pedagogical objectives or learning objectives for language learning. Also then some academic level research papers and white papers that will be available for those interested in working in sort of research in this area. Also, we're working on a manual for teachers for curriculum development. So once you've sort of reviewed and selected a game, which is part of that manual, then what do you do with it? How do you create activities that integrate it more than just sort of a homework assignment or sending learners to say, hey, go play this game and come back and tell me what you think? Actually, a much more purposeful and purposed use of those digital vernacular games. And that's something that's really, really important to us, is not necessarily saying, hey, we have to use games for learning, which lots of people are doing, but also say, hey, we can actually really change the way languages are learned if we really perceive these new digital spaces as meaningful areas for acquisition and for learning. We're also giving summer workshops on a lot of these topics. There's one coming up May 31st and June 1st. Here at the University of Arizona through CERCLL, for those interested in wanting to come and learn. It's a 2-day, really hands-on. Our goal, we're going to play a lot. We're also going to then use that play experience to build curricular activities and also talk about research projects that might be of interest. And then in 2014, the last thing we want to do is sort of culminate this project with a big Games to Teach conference. Playing languages is what we're calling it. So to bring together experts working in this field with practitioners, with instructors, perspectives from all different angles, to really talk about where we are then, I guess, 3 years from now and where we've come.
Working with Spanish and Chinese, German, Japanese, possibly Korean, Russian, possibly Portuguese, some of these different things, some different languages. What we're doing then is we're finding some of these games out there, sometimes ordering them online, sometimes going and getting them, and then we're playing them ourselves, we're playing them with people. We're trying to think of ways that a particular game from a particular culture can be then taken and adapted. And so we'll be developing and offering these materials that fit with these particular games as part of the project. So
we're really looking forward to it, and we thank you for listening and being interested in the project.
Thanks.